The enchanting era of Romanticism was made possible by thousands of thriving artists and writers that were inspired by the greatness of nature and its overwhelming beauty and power. Many poems and paintings contributing to the 19th century by artists like Francisco de Goya and John Keaton used scenes of man's struggle against nature to present many feelings and ideas. A few examples of these concepts being the sublime, survival, heroism, and despair. The Shipwreck by Joseph Turner shows the great clash of nature and man. Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley symbolizes the inevitable end of everything, and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley encompasses the theme that interfering with the natural course of life does not always turn out for the best. The Shipwreck by Joseph Mallord William Turner, created in 1805, depicts a scene of several rafts being attacked by the powerful waves of the sea. Because of the dark clouds, turbulent waves, and the sailors on the verge of drowning, the painting looks as though it is not a painting, but a snapshot taken at the perfect moment of peril. At the bottom left, you can see a portion of another raft extending off the canvas. The detail, along with the fact that the people are looking in the same direction as the viewer, create the illusion that the viewer is on a raft battling against the waves right along with them. Turner paints a moment of the sublime, which is, in this case, the glorified feeling of great peril against the epic of nature, as the men struggle not to succumb to the icy depths of the ocean. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. The statue of Ozymandias, as told in the poem Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley, can be imagined to have been a statue of an important leader in their day. But as time went on, the statue became forgotten and it aged. Time weathered it to nothing but a head and feet on a pedestal. The irony in the poem is that the words inscribed on the statue proclaim that he rose over everyone else and was the greatest. He said, "Look on my works. There is nothing to see around the statue, only sand in the desert." The theme is that everything, no matter how great, meets its end eventually. Although Ozymandias may have been a mighty king, he still fell to the feet of nature. He could not live forever, and now only the ruins of his statue remain in the hot sands of the desert. Mary Shelley wrote her famous story about creation, Frankenstein, for a writing contest held among other writers in Geneva when she was just a teenager. It is a story about what happens when humans bite off more than they can chew, but there is nothing wrong with doing so because searching for knowledge is what humans should be doing. The story starts with a few letters written by an Arctic explorer named Walton to his sister in London. He then sees a man on a sleigh being pulled by snow dogs from outside of his ship, and this later is revealed to be the scientist, Victor Frankenstein. Victor became fascinated with reanimating corpses in his college years, and one day figures out how to bring flesh alive. So, in his lab, he gathers human corpse and farm animal parts into a single grotesque creature. The experiment works, but the monster is so horrifying that Victor rejects him and runs away. Rejected by its creator, the creature flees to the woods and seeks shelter, where he then learns how to read and write. Returning to the lab, the monster shows Victor of the things he had achieved, but Victor cannot look past this and doesn't see him as anything else but a monster. Because of this, the creature gets mad and kills Victor's youngest brother and requests a mate to be created for him. But Victor refuses, and his monster proceeds to kill his best friend and his cousin, who is also his fiancée. Fleeing to the Arctic, the monster is pursued by Frankenstein, and this is how Frankenstein ends up dying on Walton's ship. Victor tells Walton before he dies, "Oh, be men, or be more than men. Return as heroes who have fought and conquered, and who know not what it is to turn their backs on the foe." In summary of this quote, Victor expresses his idea that human achievement should be celebrated, even though he did create a monster. Despite this, Walton turns back anyway because he is a coward, as he admits to his sister in a letter. Some may say Frankenstein is the real monster in the story, because he, quote from Shelley, mocked the stupendous mechanism of the creator of the world. He neglected his creation because of how horrifying it was. But what did he expect a pile of meat brought to life by electricity to look like? Beautiful? The creature did not ask to be created, and when he was brought to life, he was never given the chance to be happy or seen as anything else but a monster. Quote, I am thy creature, I ought to be thy Adam, but I am rather the fallen angel whom thou drivest from joy for no misdeed. Everywhere I see bliss, from which I am alone, am irrevocably excluded. Shelley wanted her story to be about the natural fears we all have, to bring horror to the spotlight in literature. It was important to Romantics that art could do just this and help humans keep in touch with themselves. In today's world, it is important to appreciate the art of Romanticism because it contained a philosophy that helped humans better understand themselves and the deep, dark parts of their minds. Whether it be their worst fears or hidden curiosity to learn more, the way Romanticism glorified the sublime that nature provided humans shall never be forgotten.